As someone who is passionate about her life's work, we can think of no better leader steeped in the personal experiences and challenges of military life to encourage our graduates to find their passion, take action, and work for justice and the common good. The university does, therefore, confer upon Hollister K. Patraeus the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa, with all the rights and privileges pertaining thereunto, given this 18th day of May in the year of our Lord, 2012, and of the university, the 157th in San Francisco, California.
Members of the Board of Trustees, President Prevet, faculty and staff of the university, families, friends, and most importantly, graduates, good afternoon. I feel very fortunate to be invited to speak to you on a day when you receive the tangible reward for your years of hard work. And since I'm the only thing that stands between you and your diploma, I will get on with my remarks. It's great to be in San Francisco. What a beautiful city, and you delivered up some gorgeous weather today as well. You know, I have a brother who lives here in the Bay Area. When I told him that I was invited to be the commencement speaker at the University of San Francisco, he was absolutely astounded that someone would want to hear from his little sister on their graduation day, let alone give her an honorary PhD. So I'm just telling those of you out there with older siblings, if you think this master's degree you're going to get today will garner their instant respect, guess again. To them, you will always be that annoying little kid who somehow, inexplicably, managed to game the system. So, being asked to be a commencement speaker is very exciting until, of course, you realize you actually have to write a speech. And it doesn't take long to realize that it's very hard to say anything meaningful that hasn't already been said more eloquently by someone else. But over the next hour and a half, I'll do my best. What, you think I'm not serious? Blame Father Prevet, he gave me the mic. But the good news for me is that in a few years, none of you will even remember who your graduation speaker was, let alone what she said. I can tell you that I have no clue who spoke at my own college graduation. I just remember worrying about falling down the steep steps that led from the stage and hoping that whoever was up there would not talk very long. So, what to tell you? Instead of exciting tales of my own academic experiences, fascinating though they were, I thought I'd share with you some of the life lessons I've learned in the almost 38 years since I received my own diploma at Dickinson College in Carlisle, Pennsylvania. So life lesson number 1 is be flexible. Life rarely follows the plan we have mapped out for it, and that's especially true in today's economy, I think. Those of you who are receiving degrees in a specific field today and expect to work in that profession may find that you won't end up doing that after all. But that doesn't mean that your life is ruined or that the time and money you spent here was wasted. Studying for a degree can train you for a specific job, to be sure, but it also teaches you all sorts of collateral lessons that will come in very handy. How to express yourself coherently as a speaker and in writing, how to process a large amount of material in a short amount of time, how to be organized, how to multitask, how to work collaboratively with others, and so on. Because of your education, you now have the flexibility to apply your skills to any field or job, even if it wasn't originally part of your master plan. I myself studied French and English literature in college, and I can tell you that there are not a whole lot of opportunities to use a French degree on little army posts out in the boondocks. But I was flexible and took the other opportunities, both paid and volunteer, that came along where we were stationed during those 24 moves in 37 years. And what I learned in college gave me the skills that I could apply to any situation in which I found myself. And that varied experience ultimately led me to the job I have now with the federal government, running the Office of Servicemember Affairs at the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, a place I never imagined I'd be when I studied French and English and never took a single math course, by the way, in college all those years before. Now, on to life lesson number 2. When life gives you lemons, make marmalade. The bottom line is you can learn from and take something positive from whatever situation or job you're in, even if it seems really not good at the time. I married a month after college and went looking for employment at the small Army post overseas where we were first assigned. Everyone was very impressed by my college GPA and my Phi Beta Kappa key, and I'm sure that gave me the inside track for my first job, a GS3 clerk typist at the Education Center on post. Nothing like being overqualified. But the higher level job openings just weren't there, and if I wanted to work, I had to take what I could find. In the next 7 years, during the course of 3 moves, I had some truly interesting jobs. I was clerk in charge of assigning government housing. That one definitely brought home the fact that you can't please everyone. I was a clerk typist in a high-security vault, not for the claustrophobic since there were no windows. A test proctor, you know, the one who says, "Stop, put down your pencils. Do not turn the page." See, I still have my skills. I was a management assistant in a dental clinic, learned way more than I wanted to know about root canals and things like that. And probably the worst, I was a machine operator, running a machine that used an ammonia-based process to make overhead transparencies. If you don't know what an overhead transparency is, ask one of the older faculty members. Though I really hope none of them are still using those. You know who you are. I remember my older brother's comment when I told him about the machine operator job. "Geez, now you're doing factory work. You're wasting your education." But you know, I don't think I was. Although they certainly weren't great jobs or ones I wanted to do forever, I did learn things at all of them. The housing assignment job definitely taught me how to deal with upset and difficult people, always a useful skill. The jobs at the Education Center and as a test proctor taught me that not everyone processes information or learns the same way. And the job at the dental clinic taught me the importance of flossing. I'm not sure what I learned from the machine operator job, maybe that there are some very colorful good old boys working in machine shops, but if you treat them with respect, they will return the favor. And that leads me into life lesson number 3, check your attitude. One of my favorite pieces of writing is a poem by Charles Swindoll called Attitude. Its basic premise is that life is 10% what happens to me and 90% how I react to it. I'll give you a personal example. Many people who meet me want to commiserate with me about how difficult my life must have been since 9/11, especially during my husband's almost 6 years of deployment in Iraq and Afghanistan. But you know, I didn't choose to see it that way. Obviously, during deployments, I was concerned for his safety and that of his troops, and I had plenty of challenges at home, helping spouses in our units deal with the difficulties of going it alone while their loved one was overseas. At one point, I had my son deployed to Afghanistan at the same time as my husband. But I made a conscious decision that I was not going to help anyone, least of all myself, by nonstop worrying, so I just flat refused to do it. I gave myself and the spouses who were part of my military family readiness group permission not just to feel okay, but to actually have fun. And I can tell you that I have some wonderful fun memories of those years of deployment. As an example, one soldier at Fort Campbell, Kentucky, where we were during the first year of the Iraq War, had bought himself a John Deere lawn tractor before he deployed, his pride and joy. Well, his wife made it her mission to photograph that tractor in all the most unlikely places you could imagine. At Hooters, with all the waitresses around it. On the ice at the Nashville Predators pro hockey rink with a little Zamboni sign on it. On the commanding general's front lawn. Her husband practically fainted when he saw that one. And so forth. We had a hilarious time hauling that thing around, and the troops loved seeing the photos of it that she sent over there. Yes, we definitely had serious and very sad moments during those years. That was inevitable. but I can tell you that many of us chose to approach deployment with a positive attitude and had a much easier time because of it. And that attitude trickled down to our kids, too. So, I'd like to remind you to check your own attitude as you go forth from USF and embark on the next chapter of your life. Look at yourself and make every effort not to be one of those people who suck the energy out of every room they enter, who go around with a little dark cloud over their head, who always see the glass half empty, who always start a conversation with a complaint. If you have an attitude like that, no matter how well you did here at USF, you will not prosper because people will not want to be around you. And the way you approach life is definitely something you can control. As Mr. Swindle's poem says, I am in charge of my attitude. So in closing, let me tell you of my admiration for all of you and what you have accomplished. And a special tip of the hat from this military wife and daughter to anyone out there who is military or a veteran. That diploma you're receiving today tells everyone who sees it that you are someone who is smart, someone who works hard, someone who can start a major project and see it through to completion. And I know some of you have done all that with the additional challenge of carving out time from work and family activities to complete your degree. But you all persevered and you got it done. And here you are today, about to put on that master's hood. It's been my honor to be invited to be among those who recognize you for the outstanding work that you've done here at USF. Congratulations, graduates.